Hey there, Mama. So, you've heard of the Enneagram. You may or may not be obsessed. I know, me too. Let's learn how to apply our Enneagram personalities to not only understand ourselves, but understand our relationships, including our kids. We can streamline our systems, our households, our businesses. We can live an easier, more simplified life simply by applying the principles in this personality test. I bet all these hacks are things you've not even considered. In this podcast, I'll be talking about family routines, self-identity, making life easier, and really learning how to cherish who God created you to be from the inside out. How to prioritize, plan, and create systems that's going to make life feel seamless. I'm Becky Williams, and this is Mama Meets Enneagram Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to Mama Meets Enneagram Podcast. I'm super excited because today I'm going to be talking to you about a series that I actually did in the past. Now, this is a series that I did in one of the Facebook groups, and it was called the Mama Refresh. Now, this is super important because most of you that are listening right now are mamas just like me. And I will tell you, we have a teething baby over here, and there is not a lot of sleep happening. But sleep is so important to keep you well, to keep you focused, to keep your weight down, all of the things, okay? So I want to talk to you about how to refresh your sleep even if you have little people at home. Now, what does this have to do with the Enneagram? Well, every single person is going to be more than the Enneagram. I want you to understand that I'm using the Enneagram as a tool, but the ultimate goal is for you to be well, for you to be happy, for you to be fulfilled, and to feel balanced in your life. Outside of motherhood, inside of motherhood, all of that is important to me. And I want to use this podcast, use Facebook, use Instagram, my blog, what have you. And I want it to be something that you can lean on as a tool to understand yourself better, and also to know tools and tricks and tips to be able to live your life without feeling like you are having to reinvent yourself, or you're having to fix something, or you're having to apply less of yourself because you feel like you're too much for those around you. Your goals are too high, your imagination's too big, your expectations are too much. I want you to be able to use these tools to find exactly where your sweet spot is so that you can be a mom to your kids, a wife to your husband, and not feel like you're having to take on extra roles, but that you can just be. You can be yourself and enjoy your life without having to always change something. So let's talk about refreshing your sleep, even if you have little people at home like we do. And so today I'm going to talk about why sleep is so important. I'm going to talk about factors that interrupt falling or staying asleep. I'm also going to talk about something called the Chinese body clock, which is talking about why you wake up at the same time every night. So for example, if you're finding that at 2 a.m. your eyes pop open, you can't go back to sleep, I'm going to talk about why that might be. And I'm also going to give you my top 10 ways to get a better sleep tonight. All right, so let's talk about why sleep is so important. When you are sleep deprived, mama, your cortisol goes up. This turns on your body's stress response. It's going to lead to weight gain. It's going to lead to insulin resistance. It could lead to heart attacks, high blood pressure, depression. I can attest to this one for sure. Osteoporosis, decreased immune function, and more. Okay, do we understand that sleep's important yet? All right. A lack of sleep also increases the hormone ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So if you feel like you're not getting a lot of sleep and then you're really, really hungry all the time after that, there's a reason. Your hormones are increasing. It's mostly produced in the stomach, and it does act on the pleasure centers of your brain. And so when you say, I just feel like I need something else tonight to eat, you may actually be telling the truth. It's not just a lack of willpower or something like that. Your body is literally wanting something else because of the lack of sleep it's trying to make up for that. When you're tired, you're also more likely to make poor decisions, to doubt yourself, and to feel foggy-brained and anxious. And I know that moms do not take days off, so feeling this way is definitely hard to push through when you're just not feeling your best. So the things that would affect your sleep, these are things that would keep you from getting a really good night's sleep. So eating late at night, I would say to stop eating about 3 hours before bed. And this gives your body time to digest your food without having to interrupt your sleep. Also, drinking caffeine after 2 p.m. Now, if you are a nursing mama like me, I'm also finding that drinking caffeine after 2 p.m. keeps my baby up as well. And so even if you think that you're not sensitive to caffeine and you can have coffee whenever, just know that if you are breastfeeding, it's going to be going through to your child, and your child may stay up, and then you'll wish that the coffee did have an effect on you because they will be up. Also, working on projects or things that require focus right before bed. So you're getting your brain geared back up, things from work, things from, talking with your kids or what have you. Working on projects right before bed is going to help wake everything back up, and it's going to be harder to settle down. Also, being on devices that emit blue light, like scrolling Facebook, checking emails, watching movies, being on your laptop, all of those things. Now, there are different features on your phones and your laptops, and you can get blue blocker glasses and all those kind of things. But just know that there is a effect on you whenever you are doing those things before bed. Also, keeping electronics in your room, especially plugged in by your bed. So if you have a cell phone or any kind of other electronics plugged in, I know we used to have the internet router and the modem and stuff plugged up in our room. And so we no longer have that. We've moved that to the living room. But keeping those kind of things in your room is going to make a difference. Also, watching something emotionally stimulating like the news or Hallmark or, the channels where everything, everybody dies and the dog dies and all this stuff. Watching something really emotional before bed, it's going to affect you, okay? It also could trigger things that have happened in your personal life that will bring back those emotions, and so it may make it hard to go to bed after that. So I talked about that you're going to have different times where you wake up, and it may be the same each night, and you're like, why in the world am I waking up at the same time each night? And so I want to talk to you a little bit about something called the Chinese body clock. You can look this up on Google. That's all that I did, but I've learned about this in a couple of my studies that I've done with health coaching and life coaching training. And I just wanted to go over a few different ideas with you of which part of your body is cleansing during the day. And so during the day, your body is cleansing all the time, not just at nighttime. But there are different organs that basically are going in a line and they're taking turns. And so what happens if you are not sleeping during a certain time, then that body part is going to be skipped over constantly. And a lot of times, as you'll see when I go over the numbers here, a lot of times it's going to be your adrenals, which is going to help with reducing your cortisol levels, with helping you to not feel stressed. And so this is part of why when you don't sleep, you have issues with controlling stress. So let's just start at noon, and let's talk about what happens there. So at noon, you're going to have blood circulation. This is going to be your heart. This is whenever you're going to have higher energy. Usually this is when you're going to eat lunch. So between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, your small intestine is going to start with the cleansing process. It's going to be sorting and absorbing food. This is why you typically have that 1 to 2 o'clock slump. You're going to have lower energy and you feel like nap time because your body is starting to process the food that you just ate. Around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you're going to have your bladder. And this is where your energy is going to start to be restored. Liquid waste is released. This is a really good time for work and for study. I know I found that to be true for myself. Between 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's typically where you're going to eat. And it's also going to be a time for your kidneys to be replenished. That's when they're going to store nutrients. You're going to build bone marrow. And it's usually supper time. 7, 8 o'clock. This is going to be really good for time for self-love, for winding down, getting ready for your evening. Then at around between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, you're looking at your endocrine system, your metabolic balancing, and you're starting to get sleepy. Now, between about 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there, this is when you should be asleep. Your body's going to be releasing bile. Your cells are going to be repairing themselves. You're going to be building new blood vessels, new blood cells. So if you're staying up until midnight and your body is just now starting this process, or you're eating really late, then your body has to start with digestion first because it jumps to the front of the line and you're not able to get any of these things to be cleansed. So you're looking between 1, 2, and 3 a.m. This is when you should be having deeper sleep because your blood is being detoxed. You're recovering. Okay, this is time for your liver. Right before this was your gallbladder. Okay, next between 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, this is whenever your lungs are being replenished. Your lungs are being cleansed. Okay, you should still be having deep sleep right now, but this is also time whenever you're going to be in your dream state. This is whenever if you're having some unconscious or subconscious type things going on, some grief, things like that, this is typically going to be the time that you wake up because lungs that's where you're going to store your grief, okay? Large intestine, you're looking at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, so if you wake up and you need to go to the bathroom right away, there you go, that's your large intestine. Between 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, your stomach's going to be replenishing, refreshing. This is usually when you have breakfast. It's a great time for concentration and for a walk. And then we're bringing it back up here close to noon. You're looking at your spleen. This is where you're going to have clear thinking between 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Your spleen is going to convert your food, and you're getting ready for that, starting over with your heart, your blood circulation, and high energy again for lunchtime. So if you notice that you are having low energy or high energy, or you're waking up at a particular time during the night, hopefully this gives you a little insight into maybe why that's happening. So let's go ahead and talk about the top 10 tips to get better sleep tonight. So now you understand, okay, I'm waking up at a certain time because of X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. You understand the effects of not getting enough sleep. So let's talk about how to make it happen. So tip number 1 is to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Notice I didn't give you a time. Yes, it's great if you're in bed asleep by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, but I do understand if you have little kids at home, if you work, strange hours, if you are having to work from home right now, we still have stay-at-home order from COVID-19, and so if you're having to homeschool your kids, work from home, keep up your house, all those kind of things, you may not be able to go to bed at, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So whatever it is that you can do, whatever routine you need to establish right now, is just going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. This helps to reset your circadian rhythm. This is the thing that bosses your hormones around during the day. So if you're feeling a little bit off, it could be because your circadian rhythm is not in balance. Also, cortisol is higher in the morning, so that's going to get you going. Cortisol is lower at night. It helps you fall asleep and get rest. So whenever this is switched or this is messed up, you can see how that would be a problem. If you're winding up at night and you're sluggish in the morning, yeah, your days are going to feel off. Tip number 2 is to ditch technology in the bedroom. I already talked to you about having things in the bedroom with electricity and electronic type stuff at night, but the reason is it will actually send your system into a fight or flight response. This is keeping you from relaxing completely. Also, blue light's going to stimulate daytime, simulate daytime, so your body's confused about whether it's day or night. And so it's in this constant of do we go to sleep or do we wake up? What are we supposed to do? Tip number 3, make your bedroom a place to relax. Okay, declutter the room so it's not visually distracting. I am super, super guilty of making my bedroom, or our bedroom, the very last place that I clean. Because it's okay, people aren't going to go in there. So you always do the usuals, the entryway, the living room, the kitchen, and I will put off having my bedroom clean. I may have piles of clean clothes to fold or, that kind of stuff, harbors toys in there. But the problem is it keeps you from being in a completely relaxed state. Also, this is up to you, but I've heard that you can remove family photos or anything like that that's going to be emotionally stimulating, similar to what I was talking about with, watching Hallmark movies before you go to bed. Also use calming paint colors and buy a pretty comforter. I want you to be able to walk into your bedroom and feel relaxed, feel happy, feel like it's a place that you can settle down and just enjoy. Tip number 4, set the right conditions for sleep. Boys, whenever you go to a hotel or you're maybe on vacation, I remember one time we went on vacation and we stayed at this place that the air conditioner was something different It basically used outside air to just kind of circulate. It didn't blow cold air, and I was hot all night. It is so hard to sleep when the temperature is not right. So that's one of them. You want to make sure that your temperature is good for you, not too cold, not too hot. Also, very important to make it dark, especially during daylight savings time, because whenever you're flip flopping between, when the sun's coming up and that kind of thing, it can really just, I know it messes me up for a couple weeks after we have daylight savings time. So making it zero light in there so that you can determine when you wake up and when you go to sleep is really good. You can try eye mask, earplugs, blackout curtains, all those things are great. Also, use a white noise app or a sound machine to block out outside noises. So we have a neighbor that has a dog that likes to bark at all hours of the night, all during the day. There is no rhyme or reason to it. It's just always barking. So using a white noise app is really good. Also a noisy fan, that's another great option. And also this one, put your phone on airplane mode. So I work for a company that is internationally based. And so I have people who will send me private messages and different things for work at, all hours because we're all on different time zones. And so putting my phone on airplane mode will allow me to make sure that my sleep is not interrupted. Because if I get something from work that comes through, I have a certain ringtone that I know, this is something for work. If that comes through, I'm wanting to look at it because it's important. And I really love my job. And so that's going to wake me back up. Now I'm into a project and I find it difficult to go back to sleep. So even if you do put it on airplane mode, if you're concerned about your family not being able to get in touch with you, don't worry. If you add them to the favorites list on your phone, it will actually, you can set it for texting and you can set it for ring. And so whoever it is that you would like to, make it through past the airplane mode, you are able to change that setting. Tip number 5 is ditch the afternoon caffeine and alcohol. You might be a delayed metabolizer of caffeine, and it can interrupt your natural rhythms. I know this is true for me. I actually have an article on my blog, which is fullonpurpose.com, and it talks about who can have caffeine and who should really avoid it, or who should limit whenever you drink it. Because you may drink it right now, you don't feel the effects, but a couple hours later, man, you're wired and ready to go, and now it's interrupting your sleep or your baby's sleep if you're breastfeeding. My suggestion just for everyone is to stop drinking caffeine around 2 o'clock. And also, as far as alcohol is concerned, even though I don't drink alcohol, I know a lot of my clients do, and it may help you to fall asleep, but it truthfully could interrupt your circadian rhythm just like caffeine does. So just be aware of that and pay attention to your body. Tip number 6 is to get outside every single day. Regular exposure, meaning 20 minutes at least, will help your circadian rhythm. When the sun gets brighter, it lets your body know to release certain hormones. So if you are staying indoors all day long, then your body is not able to know what different parts of the day is. And so you have to get outside. Also get your vitamin D, which is wonderful for being outside. It's natural, it's free, and most likely your kids will love if you're outside playing ball with them, or we have a giant dirt pile right now outside. We were supposed to get sand and I ordered the wrong thing. So we have a big dirt pile. The boys are loving being out there, just digging in it, making holes, playing in it. And so, get out there. They would love that. That's a memory that you can make with them whenever mom got out there and got all dirty in the mud pile, right? Everything washes off, guys. That's what they make washing machines for. Also, whenever you lack sun exposure, your body releases certain hormones. So when you're outside, it releases certain hormones. Whenever you're inside, it releases certain hormones. So if you're never getting outside, you're probably getting too much of one thing and not enough of another. Tip number 7 is stop eating at least 2 hours before bed. I would love to see 3, but I understand, like I said, you're working, you're doing homeschool, you're cooking supper, you're cleaning the dishes, all the things, and so you may not be able to make that happen, but just do it the best that you can. And the reason I say that is because having food in your stomach interrupts your natural detox. Whenever you're sleeping, you're detoxing. We just talked about that with the body clock. And so if you're putting food into your stomach, that takes precedent over all of it, and digestion happens first. And so you may not be able to replenish as much as if you didn't have food in the way. Also, looking at your body clock, um, you will notice which things are not being detoxed because you have food. So if you're a continual or a habitual snacker at nighttime when you're sitting watching Netflix, which things are being skipped over and how is it affecting your life? Usually it's the adrenals and gallbladder. Tip number 8, release your worries and harvest gratitude. So take 5 minutes before bed and write down every single thing that comes to your mind. Good, bad, doesn't matter. Just write it down. Get it out of your head. Release your worries, fears, and anxieties of the day. Realize you're not going to give them any more thought tonight. You can even say that verbally. Hey, look, I am putting all these worries to bed. Lord, I give them to you, and I'm going to rest. And I will pick them up in the morning, or if it's something that the Lord needs to take care of and you need to let go of it. Don't pick it back up. Also, take 5 more minutes and write down at least 5 things that happened that day that you're thankful for. I noticed when people do gratitude, they will say the same things. I'm thankful for my family, for my church, for my God, for my food, shelter. But the problem with that is it's very surface level on gratitude, and it really doesn't get down deep to where it's going to change you and helping you to see life through the lens of being grateful. And so whenever you have to do something for that day, like 5 things for that day, you're going to be more aware of what's happening and what's good around you. We do this with our kids. We have them look and have them think about it, and at nighttime, whenever we're eating supper together, we ask them what they're thankful for from that day. And so they just have it going in their mind, hey, they're going to ask us tonight, so we need to be aware of what is happening. Also, there's an app called Happy Feed, and it is free. It's a great app to download. And the cool thing about it is you can actually scroll back up and look for days that you've had past entries, and it just helps you on those days that you're feeling kind of down and you're having maybe trouble mustering up some gratitude. You can look back at great things that have happened. Tip number 9 is Epsom salt and aromatherapy bath. Raising your body temperature before bed actually helps to start the wind down process. Epsom salts are really rich in magnesium. It helps aid in sleep as well as keep you from being deficient. So a lot of people will get restless legs at night. Not always, but a lot of times it's a magnesium deficiency. And so you may be drinking tons of water during the day, but you're flushing your electrolytes out and you're not replenishing. So you want to have magnesium. You could take Calm magnesium. You can get it at pretty much any grocery store. You could take a scoop of that. Also, Designs for Health is the one that we use. Really great. A great one for going to sleep. It's not magnesium that makes you go to the bathroom. There are different kinds if you're going to take them orally. If not, just do the Epsom salt bath, and that will help you to relax. Also, essential oils do all kinds of things to help you relax your muscles, deepen your sleep, create an atmosphere of calm. I only use therapeutic grade oils like Young Living. If you have questions about those, you're welcome to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer them. I've been using oil since 2014, so I have quite a bit of experience with it. And the last tip is warm your bed with a hot water bottle. Now, I'm in Louisiana right now, and it's pretty hot, so this is not something that I need to do, but on those nights that are really cold, this can help to raise your temperature and initiate a relaxation response. So if your house is really cold and you have trouble settling down and going to sleep, try this. Get a hot water bottle. Get one of those old-time bottles that you can get from the drugstore. Fill it up and put it in your bed. You could do a heating pad if you wanted, but it is something that's plugged in, so I would prefer something without a plug, because then that goes against our other tip that we had about electronics in the bedroom. So this is also really good for upset stomach and for menstrual cramps. So it's a win-win all the way around. All right, let's recap. We are finished with today's episode. So you can establish routines that help make sleep more consistent. Your body might be asking for help if you're waking up at the same time every night or you're feeling off at the same time during the day. I gave you 10 ways of getting better sleep. So if you need to chat or you have a question about anything from today's episode, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. The handle is Mama Meets Enneagram. And you can always email me, hello@fullonpurpose.com. So today's episode, I hope, was helpful for you. I hope you get some refreshing sleep, Mama. and that you can feel well and taking care of those babies and taking care of yourself. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.